Morning, everybody. Welcome to week 10. So, this is my house. This is where I live as I'm working from home now, and just like you are. So, hopefully, everybody's doing okay. A couple of things I wanted to talk about before we jump in here. I'm going to put a link below this video in the news. That is my Zoom personal meeting room. And I want to use that kind of like office hours. I know in a regular semester with an online class, you necessarily wouldn't be stopping by my office very much anyway. And some of you are not on campus or wouldn't have been on campus anyway. But I wanted to give you the opportunity that if anything comes up and you just need a little bit of one-on-one time to work through a project or a problem or an issue or something, you can stop by. But just like everybody else, my schedule is all over the place. These things are popping up left and right, and so there's not going to be a set amount of office time. I will try to turn it on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays throughout the day, but it may not be on all day long. It'll just be on for like little sections of time. So what I would say to do is if you're having an issue, try popping open that link and jumping in the Zoom meeting and seeing if I'm just hanging out in there. And if so, I can help you work through whatever issue you're wanting. And if not, you can send me an email. And if I can't answer it over email quickly, then what we can do is arrange a time that I can just meet you in that room and we can work through some stuff. And that way we can share screens and I can show you stuff within Maya and stuff like that that'll help you out. So, or if you're just wanting to pop in and say, hey, that's fine too. So yeah, more than likely it'll be in the mornings and maybe early afternoons on Monday, Wednesday, Friday is when I'm going to have the opportunity to open it up the most. But I'll open it up at other times throughout the day too. And if you're needing to meet at a different time, that'll be fine. So, well, let's hop into week 10 and see what we have going on this week. So, under the content section here, my internet's apparently not as fast as the internet at school. So, week 10, obviously we have the description, the directions and the checklist. We have a couple of things here listed in the content, and so let's look at those really quickly. So week 10's video lesson is all about posing and animating our spoon. So last week in the discussion board, we talked about poses, right? We found some poses online. We put those out there and tried to use that as a way of understanding what's going on in the scene, right? That pose should be a communication of what the character is doing. Well, animation for the most part is just a series of poses that are transitioning into each other. And so this week we're going to be focusing on posing the spoon to get the animation that you're seeing happening here. So our spoon's going to jump in a few times and then jump up and land in the bowl. You're not limited to that, and you're welcome to do a couple of other things, but we're going to have the spoon animate at least a couple of jumps. So we'll go through the whole process of posing, and then we also go through the graph editor. So I know some of you are probably still a little intimidated by the graph editor. The graph editor is a big part of learning how to control your animation, make it do exactly what you want it to do. And so this is something that you are going to eventually have to get used to. So let's just dive in and learn how to do that. For the most part, though, it's not a huge amount of work that we're doing this week. And so because of that, I've added an extra little lesson in here. And that's the midpoint review lesson. So this is not, this is just sort of a written out document that kind of explains to you where this class that you're in right now fits into the digital media curriculum at large, right? The entire spectrum of what digital media is. And you'll see, you'll read it in more depth, but you'll see that what we have is these 4 principles classes. Some of you may also be taking principles of digital game design. But there are 4 principles classes that you would take your freshman year. Now, if some of you are getting a head start on that in a dual enrollment class, that's awesome. If not, you'll get these 4 classes out of the way within your first year. But what this is about is what happens after that, and namely the midpoint review class, which is something that happens in your sophomore year. Now, the reason I like to talk about it in this class is because what we're going to be reviewing in that midpoint review class is the work you do in this class. Right? So make sure you're saving this work. That is one of the most important things to emphasize in this. Don't throw away any of these files, because in your sophomore year, you're going to have to revisit them. You're going to have to go back and maybe do a revision or polish something up, maybe do a stronger render of something. And that class is what you use to show that you are capable of handling the upper level classes, the 3000 and the 4000 level classes. So you can't take any of those classes until you pass midpoint review. And then we also talk a little bit in here about the portfolio development class. I like to put this in here because it's a good time over the last little bit of this semester to start thinking about what you're enjoying, what you're good at, what you like doing from this class, or what you don't like doing. You may have came into this class thinking you're going to love animation, and you can still love to watch animation, but you've just decided it's not fun to do for you. But maybe you really like the game design class, even though you don't play video games that much. Really, this is about trying to help you find the right path through the rest of your college career, right? So this week and next week, we kind of talk a little bit about the class and how it fits into the entire curriculum, and then some of the different career options in digital media. So let's go back to week 10. Of course, the other thing we have, like always, is our discussion. And so this is where we're kind of going to look at how our curriculum, how the rest of these classes may, we're going to look at what the rest of the classes in digital media are like. So basically, you're going to go through and look at some of the upper level classes as they're listed in the catalog and what those mean. So like for digital animation, like what is 3D animation? What is character animation? What is technical direction? Right? So looking at some of these classes and some of the things that you have to take in your upper level classes after that midpoint review class. And then if we go back, the course descriptions that we have here will help you kind of understand what those are. Okay. So for example, if you were like, what is character animation? Let me find it here. Is it fundamentals of character animation? I think it's that one. That's not it. Let's do a different one. Like, what is animation fundamentals? So, study of the fundamental principles of mechanics of motion through hand-drawn animation. Students explore timing, spacing, and staging, staging an image for clarity, gravity, and motion. So you'll read through this, and hopefully this will give you a better idea. One of the important parts of this, though, is understanding what the concentration is not, right? So, for example, if you look at the curriculum, you'll notice that in the animation concentration, there's not very many modeling classes. There's actually just one, right? And we do some modeling in this class so we can have some things to animate, right? You maybe modeled your milk carton or something like that. So animation does include stuff like lighting and rendering, where you have to build a scene, and it does include this modeling class. And you may do a little bit of modeling in 3D animation, but that's about it. And so if what you're really liking is the modeling part of this, maybe you'll find more opportunities to do some of that in the game design class, right? So for example, some of these classes, you're creating full video games, and what you may be doing is creating all the models for those video games. And it also includes that high fidelity modeling class that is in the animation concentration. So really what I'm trying to get you to do is just go through here and think about which of these concentrations you may be most interested in, and sort of thinking about the future of what paths that you might be wanting to go for. So, of course, like every week, we also have the option to turn in a revision. I will be doing some grading here in the near future, mainly catching up on some of the discussion grades. I know I've fallen a little behind on that. And any revisions you want to get in here in the next few days, I'll get a chance to look at those as well. I know a couple of people have put in some revisions and sent me emails about them. And again, it's always going to the same folder, this revision link, so you can update anytime you want to. Yeah, so we got a couple of people who've put some stuff in there. So you can update anytime you want to, and I can look at those and update your grade. So again, if you have any questions along the way, don't hesitate to email me. If you don't hear back from me in a day or so, there's a chance that it's gotten a little lost in the emails, so feel free to send me a nudge to remind me, because some days I get like 50 emails, and I don't want you getting sort of lost in those if you're having an urgent question. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any questions or if you have anything you need, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.